Welcome to Connect Learner app. I am your CSAT faculty, Sachin Gopanaal. The topic of this class's discussion would be blood relations. So blood relations, it is such a topic based on which at least one question has been asked almost every year. I think no question was asked on this topic in 2024. So you may expect a question in 2025 on this topic. Okay. So this is a quite easy topic. But to understand this topic, we will need a thorough understanding of some of the basics. So we will understand the basics first, and then we'll go to solving the questions when it comes to this topic. Okay. Now, first, we need to make some assumptions here. So what are the assumptions? Look at this. Now, how many genders are there? Now, in our regular in our regular language, we use 3 genders: male, female, and neutral. But when it comes to blood relations, we will have only 2 genders, male and female. There is no third gender when it comes to blood relations, because we are talking about persons. Even though in reality there can be third gender persons, but when it comes to solving the problems on blood relation, we will talk only about male and female. Then in blood relations, males can marry females only and females marry males only. So there is no same-sex marriage when it comes to blood relations topic. Then some of the relations that we use in our everyday life, they do not exist when it comes to this topic. Which are those relations? Relationships like cousin brother, cousin sister, co-brother, co-sister. These are some of the relations that we do that we do utter in our everyday life, but they do not exist in this topic. When it comes to solving the questions, these relations, they do not exist. Actually, they do not exist in English language, but we Indians, we have created these terms, but in reality, they do not exist when in English language and in this topic. Done. And next, you need to understand these 2 terms, paternal and maternal. The word paternal means related through father, and maternal means related through mother. Okay. Done. Now, after learning these assumptions or basics, we need to know which are the possible relationships that come in this topic. So I will list all the relationships that come in this topic. These are the only relationships. Other than this, no relationship is entertained here. So what are they? 1, parent. So who is a parent? A parent can be a mother or father. Yes, that is basics, that is understood. And a child, who can be a child? A child can be a son or a daughter. Then sibling. Who is a sibling? A brother or a sister. So a word that encompasses both of them, brother and sister, that is sibling. Then spouse. So who is a spouse? For a husband, his wife is his spouse. For a woman, her husband is her spouse. So spouse means either husband or wife. Then what do we call a child's child? A child's child, it is grandchild. So it can be either granddaughter or grandson. Okay. Then what do we call our parent's brother? It can be a father's brother or it can be mother's brother, elder or younger. That is fine. So a parent's brother, he is called uncle always. A father's brother is also called uncle. Mother's brother is also called uncle. And then what do we call parent's sister? So she is called aunt. So it can be one's father's sister or one's mother's sister. Both of them, they are uttered using the same word aunt. Then parent's parent. So that is grandparent. So grandparent, it can be grandfather or grandmother. If it is one's father's father, then that would be paternal grandfather. If it is mother's father, that would be paternal grandfather. If it is father's mother, then she would be paternal grandmother. If she is one's mother's mother, then she would be maternal grandmother. Done. Okay. Then what about one's son's wife? One's son's wife, she would be daughter-in-law. What about one's daughter's husband? He would be son-in-law. Okay. Next. Then what do we call a spouse's mother? Let us say there is a person here and he is married to another person, and this mother's mother, she would be the original person's grandmother, mother-in-law. Similarly, a spouse's father, he would be called father-in-law. So it can be one's husband's mother or one's wife's mother, she would be mother-in-law, or one's husband's father or one's wife's father, he would be father-in-law. Then look at these things here. Spouse's sister is also called sister-in-law, and brother's wife is also called sister-in-law. So make a note of this here. Both are called sister-in-laws. And spouse's brother and sister's husband, both are called brother-in-law. For example, let us say there is a person X, and X has a X. Let us say X is a female person. Then she has a brother Y, and Y's sister is Z. Y's wife is Z. So X and Y, they are siblings. X is sister, Y is brother, and Y's wife is Z. Now Z and X, they are sister-in-laws to each other. So that is how. So for X, Z is the sister-in-law. For Z, X is the sister-in-law. Because for X, Z is her brother's wife. For Z, X is her spouse's sister. So that is how this relationship works. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law. It works both the ways. Then sibling's son is called nephew. For example, your brother's son or your sister's son, he would be your nephew. And your brother's daughter or your sister's daughter, she would be your niece. So nephew, niece. Okay. Then let us say your father's brother's son or daughter, he or she, they would be your cousin. So there is no cousin brother, cousin sister here. It can be your father's siblings child or your mother's siblings child. That child, they would be cousin to you. They, even if it is, it can be male or female, there is no distinction here. That person would be this thing. That the person would be just cousin to you, and for that person, you would be cousin. So cousin relationship works that way. Then, okay, we understood some basics of this thing, the basics of blood relation. Then we understood which are all the relations that we can expect in blood relation. Now, what happens when it comes to blood relation is, you will be presented with a problem. You will be, to solve it actually, you will be needed to write it using a family tree pictorial diagram. So to draw the diagram, you need some of the notations. So here, these are all the notations that we need to make use of. Okay, ignore this one. This it is just implies. So this is implies. So ignore this two arrow marks. Sorry, two lines with an arrow mark. So ignore that one. So these are the notations: plus, minus, vertical line, two horizontal lines, and a symbol like this. Okay, done. So when they present with you, when they present a problem to you, you need to make use of these notations and draw a pictorial diagram. And after you have drawn that pictorial diagram, you will be able to read it back, and based on that, you will be able to answer the question. Okay. So you will understand better when we start answering the problems. But for now, just understand the notations. So we are talking about Z here. Z is a person. If I write Z plus, it means that Z is a male. Okay. If I write Z minus, it means that Z is a female. But you can interchange it. You can use minus for male and plus for female. That is left to you. But follow one method consistently. Okay. Then if I write Y and draw a vertical line, and below the vertical line, if I write Z, it means that Y is the parent and Z is a child. Here there is no plus or minus sign here. So since there is no plus sign, Y is only a parent. Y can be a father or a mother. There is no plus or minus sign before in front of Z. So Z can be a son or a daughter. Okay. Then if we write two parallel lines between Y and Z, it means that Y and Z, they are married. So if there was a plus sign here, then Y would be husband. If there was a plus sign here, then Z would be husband. If you know one of the person's gender, you can guess the other person's gender, because only male and female marry. Okay. Then if we write this structure, so this structure like this, it means that they are siblings. So Y and Z, they are siblings. So one of them can be brother, or and the other sister, or both of them can be brothers, or both of them can be sisters. So until we write a plus or minus sign, we do not know. So these are all the notations that we make use of to draw the pictorial diagram. Okay, done. I told you that when a problem is presented to you, using these notations, you should draw a diagram. After that, you should be able to read the diagram back. So for that, we will use this diagram. Now this is a family tree. Now let us see how to read this one. We'll start with A. Now A, two parallel lines, B. it means that A and B are married couple. So there is a plus sign before A and minus sign before B. It means that A is the husband and B is the wife. Then there is a vertical arrow mark between A and C. So A is a parent and C is a child. Now there is a plus before A and minus before C. It means that A is the father and C is the daughter. Then what is the relationship between B and C? B is the mother, because B is the wife of A. So B is the B is the mother and C is the daughter. And one more thing, in blood relations, only one person will be married to only one other person. There will be no two wives to same person or two husbands to same person. Okay. Now, what about D? What is the relationship between C and D? Now, this structure. What is this structure? Let us call it inverted U for our convenience. So, when there is the inverted U between two persons, it means that they are siblings. Now, D, there is a plus sign here, and C, there is a minus sign here. So, they are siblings where D is the brother and C is the sister. Then, D is married to E. D is the husband and E is the wife. Then, C is married to F, where C is the wife and F is the husband. Then, there is an inverted U between J and F. So, J and F, they are siblings, where F is the brother. But we do not know if J is a brother or a sister, because there is no plus or minus sign here. So, that is a possibility. In your actual examination, that we will encounter such cases. You will understand it better when we, as I said, when we start answering the problems. But just understand this diagram and just understand what this diagram is telling us. It tells us that F is a brother, but we do not know if J is a brother or a sister. Okay. Then C, there is a vertical line between C and G. So C is the mother and G is the child. Again, we do not know if G is daughter or son. We just know G is a child of C. Then D, vertical line H. So D and H, they are father and son, because plus. So D is the father, H is the son. Then there is an inverted U between H and I. So I and H, they are siblings, where H is the son and I is the daughter of D. So H is the brother, I is the sister out of these two. So from the perspective of D and E, H is the son and I is the daughter. Now, what is the relationship between H and G? H and G, they are cousins, because C and D, they are siblings, and C's child is G and D's child is H. H and G are cousins. What about G and I? Again, G and I, they are also cousins. But what about H and I? They are siblings. They are not cousins. They are directly siblings. Then, what is G to D? What is G to D? From the perspective of D, G can be nephew or niece. We do not know. What is H to C? From the perspective of C, H is nephew. Then what is I to C? From the perspective of C, I is the niece. Okay. Then what is C to I? So from the perspective of I, C is aunt, because D is the father and father's sister is C. So from the perspective of I, C is the aunt. From the perspective of G, what is the D? Again, from the perspective of G, D is the uncle. And then what about E? Uncle's wife is always aunt. Make a note of it. Uncle's wife is always aunt, and aunt's husband is always uncle. So from the perspective of G, E is aunt and D is uncle. Okay. Then what is the relationship between J and C? Now J and C, C is the sister-in-law, because J's sibling is F and F's wife is C. So the relationship between J and C, it can be said that C is the sister-in-law. But we do not know what is the relationship of J with respect to C, because J can be brother-in-law or sister-in-law. Then what is the relationship between F and D? F and D, they are brother-in-laws to each other, because F's wife is C and C's brother is D. So F is the brother-in-law of D and D is the brother-in-law of F. Similarly, the relationship between C and E, again C and E, they are sister-in-laws to each other, because C's brother is D and D's wife is E, and E's husband is D and D's sister is C. So C is the sister-in-law of E and E is the sister-in-law of C. And then F is the son-in-law of A and B, and E is the daughter-in-law of A and B. Then A is the father-in-law of F and E. B is the mother-in-law of F and E. So these are all the relationships that we can make out from this family tree. Okay. So when they give you some problem, you will be able to write this such a tree diagram, family tree, using the notations that we learnt in the previous page. So based on that, we will write a family tree diagram, and then we should be able to read the diagram, and based on that we will be able to answer the question. Okay, now we are ready to answer the questions. Look at this one. A, B and C